The night the moon burned, the entire world watched. At first, people thought it was some kind of strange solar reflection. A bright flash appeared along the surface of the moon, followed by a thin line of light stretching across its gray plains. Within seconds, that thin line turned into a glowing wound. Then the alarm started. Observatories around the world began broadcasting emergency signals. Satellites picked up impossible energy readings. Military command centers lit up with red warnings. Something was attacking the moon. Across Earth, millions of people rushed outside, staring up into the sky. What they saw would be remembered for the rest of human history. A beam of blinding white light struck the moon again. The surface exploded into molten fire. Vast craters opened like scars. Dust and glowing fragments shot into space. Someone had just burned our moon. Inside the United Earth Orbital Command Station, Commander Daniel Reyes stood frozen in front of a massive display screen. The holographic map showed a gigantic object hovering beyond the lunar orbit. It was not a meteor. It was not a satellite. It was a ship, and it was enormous. The alien warship was nearly 3 kilometers long. Its dark metallic hull absorbed the light of the stars. Strange glowing structures ran across its surface like veins, carrying energy through a living machine. No one in the command center spoke for several seconds. Finally, a technician whispered the words everyone feared. That thing just fired on the moon. Another officer turned toward Reyes. "Sir, we are receiving no communication signals from the object." Reyes clenched his jaw. Of course they were not communicating. They were demonstrating. Another blast fired from the alien ship. The beam sliced across the moon again. This time the impact shattered an entire mountain range. Huge pieces of rock broke away and drifted slowly into space. It was not just an attack. It was a warning, or maybe a message. Humanity was not alone, and whoever had arrived was not friendly. Panic began spreading across Earth. Governments activated emergency protocols. Fighter squadrons were launched into orbit even though everyone knew the truth. Human weapons had never faced something like this. But then something unexpected happened. The alien ship moved closer, not toward Earth, toward the damaged moon. Commander Reyes narrowed his eyes. Magnify the hull. The image zoomed in. The warship surface revealed massive structures, weapon ports and strange glowing panels. Then one of the analysts gasped. "Sir, there is an opening forming along the lower hull." A large section of the alien ship slowly unfolded. A massive entry bay appeared as if the ship was preparing to deploy something, or receive something. Reyes made a decision that would change everything. "Prepare the boarding team." The entire room turned toward him. "Sir, that ship destroyed the moon surface. We have no idea what is inside it." Reyes looked back at the burning moon through the observation window. "They burned our moon." His voice became cold. "Now we are going to see what burns inside their ship." A small silence filled the command center as soldiers began preparing the most dangerous mission in human history, a direct boarding operation on an alien warship. And if you want to see what humanity discovers inside the enemy vessel, make sure to subscribe to the channel, because this mission is only beginning, and what the soldiers will find inside, that ship will shock the entire world. Within the hour, the boarding craft launched toward the alien warship, and none of them knew if they would ever come back. The boarding craft moved silently through the darkness of space. Inside the small armored vessel, Commander Daniel Reyes and 12 soldiers sat strapped into their seats. The engines hummed softly as the craft approached the alien warship that loomed ahead like a floating continent of metal. From this distance, the ship looked even larger. Its surface was covered with glowing structures and strange geometric patterns that pulsed with dim blue light. Massive weapon ports lined the hull, each one easily large enough to destroy entire cities. And somewhere inside that ship was the power that had burned the moon. No one spoke for several minutes. Finally, Sergeant Malik broke the silence. "Hard to believe something that big is just floating there waiting for us." Reyes kept his eyes fixed on the forward screen. "It is not waiting for us," he said quietly. "It just does not think we matter." The soldiers exchanged looks. That idea was even more disturbing. The craft continued forward until the enormous entry bay of the alien vessel filled the entire view. The opening looked like a giant metallic mouth. Dim lights flickered along its edges as if the ship was breathing. "Command, this is boarding team 1, Reyes said into the comm channel. "We are approaching the alien bay now." Static filled the speaker for a moment before a voice replied, "Orbital command receiving. All global networks are watching this mission. Humanity is counting on you." Reyes glanced at the soldiers. No pressure then. A few quiet laughs broke the tension. The craft drifted slowly into the alien hangar. The moment they crossed the threshold, something strange happened. Their instruments flickered and recalibrated as if the environment itself was interfering with human technology. The hangar was enormous. Towering alien machines stood in long rows like silent statues. Some looked like fighter craft while others were completely unfamiliar shapes that no human engineer could understand. Dim white lights glowed along the walls, revealing massive curved structures that stretched far into the distance. It felt less like a hangar and more like walking inside a mechanical world. The boarding craft touched down gently on the dark metallic floor. For several seconds nobody moved. Then Reyes stood up. Helmets on. The soldiers locked their helmets into place. Oxygen systems activated with soft clicks. Weapons were raised. The rear ramp slowly lowered. Cold alien air drifted into the craft. Reyes stepped down first. The floor beneath his boots felt strangely warm. The metal surface pulsed faintly as if energy was flowing beneath it. Sergeant Malik scanned the area with his rifle. I do not see any life forms. Reyes looked around the massive chamber. That is the part that worries me. They advanced deeper into the hangar. Their light swept across towering walls covered with symbols and glowing lines. Suddenly, one of the soldiers spoke nervously. Commander, you need to see this. Reyes turned. At the far end of the hangar stood something enormous. A massive door slowly began to open. Behind it, a deep corridor stretched into the heart of the alien warship. But that was not the shocking part. The shocking part was the sound echoing through the corridor. Footsteps, heavy metallic footsteps. Something inside the ship had just started moving. The soldiers raised their weapons instantly. Sergeant Malik whispered, Commander, we are not alone. Reyes stared into the dark corridor where the sound was getting closer. Good, he said quietly, because we came here for answers. And if you want to discover what terrifying secret is walking toward the human boarding team inside the alien warship, make sure to subscribe to the channel because the next chapter will reveal the first true encounter between humanity and the enemy that burned our moon. The footsteps suddenly stopped, right outside the doorway. The hangar fell into complete silence. Commander Daniel Reyes held his rifle steady, aiming directly at the dark corridor. The heavy metallic footsteps had stopped just beyond the doorway, as if whatever was inside the alien ship knew exactly where the humans were standing. The soldiers formed a tight defensive line. Sergeant Malik whispered through the comm channel. Thermal scanners are reading movement, but it is strange. The shape is massive. Reyes narrowed his eyes behind the visor of his helmet. How massive? Malik hesitated for a moment. Bigger than a tank. A cold tension filled the air. Then something stepped into the light. The soldiers froze. The creature was nearly 4 meters tall. Its body was covered in dark metallic armor that looked fused directly into its skin. Long mechanical limbs ended in claw-like structures that glowed with blue energy. Its head was narrow and smooth with 2 bright white eyes shining like stars. But the most terrifying thing was not the creature itself. It was the dozens of identical shapes slowly emerging behind it. The alien soldiers had arrived. Weapons raised, they moved with perfect coordination, forming a silent wall of metal and glowing energy. For a brief moment, both sides simply stared at each other. Then something unexpected happened. The alien at the front stepped forward. A beam of light projected from its chest, forming a floating holographic symbol in the air. The soldiers glanced at Reyes. Commander, what is that? Reyes slowly lowered his rifle a few centimeters. It might be communication. The symbol shifted, transforming into a projection of the moon. But the moon was burning. The image replayed the moment when the alien weapon carved across the lunar surface. Several soldiers tightened their grip on their weapons. Then the image changed again. Now the hologram showed Earth, cities glowing across the planet like bright constellations. Suddenly a second alien ship appeared in the projection. This one was even larger than the warship they were standing inside. The hologram zoomed out to reveal an entire fleet approaching the solar system. A quiet realization spread through the human team. The ship that burned the moon was not the invasion. It was only the beginning. The alien soldier pointed toward the hologram of the incoming fleet. Then it pointed directly at Reyes. Malik whispered urgently, Commander, I think it is trying to warn us. Reyes stared at the projection. If the translation was correct, then the alien warship that attacked the moon might not be their enemy. It might be a scout. Or worse, a survivor. Reyes slowly stepped forward. Why show us this? He asked quietly. Even though he knew the creature might not understand, the alien soldier lifted one of its glowing claws and touched the projection of the massive incoming fleet. Then it closed its hand into a fist. The message was clear. War was coming. Not just for Earth, for everything. The soldiers exchanged stunned looks. Humanity had boarded the alien ship expecting revenge. Instead, they had just discovered something far more terrifying. They were not preparing for war. They were already late. Reyes turned toward his team. We need to get this information back to Earth immediately. Behind them, the enormous alien soldier stepped aside, allowing the humans a clear path back toward their craft. An uneasy alliance had just been born inside the enemy warship, and if you enjoyed this story and want more epic space battles, alien encounters and humanity rising against impossible threats, make sure to subscribe to the channel, because many more incredible sci-fi stories are coming soon. Outside the hangar, the damaged moon continued to burn silently in space, and far beyond it, an entire alien fleet was already on its way.